This clip of Orson Welles has been doing the rounds lately. He addresses a group of French film students, imploring them not to marinate in films. He puts it best by saying,
"The more virgin our eyes are, the more we have to say."
He goes on to, of course, mention that you should watch films, especially great films, but the point is not to get lost in it. It's very hard to separate what you consume and what you create. They often bleed into one another. And as an aspiring artist, you should find a healthy balance between consumption and creation. Of course, a filmmaker has to watch films to understand their craft and the syntax of film. However, when consuming a lot of films, particularly from a specific culture, you'll naturally absorb the narrative conventions of that culture. If you don't take this into consideration, you'll end up creating very homogeneous, unremarkable films. But it's not just a case of watching international cinema. I also made the mistake of treating others' films as a reference for what can be done rather than what has been done. You can consume the masterpieces of cinema all you want, but if you don't take the extra steps to try to evolve and personalize the ideas you absorb, you're never going to make anything new. However, breaking out of this mold once it's been formed is very difficult if it's not something that comes naturally to you. Like in my case, I have to try very hard to resist my lazy conformist tendencies.
Oh, lazy.
Maybe you do too.
You're a lazy fucker.
Pushing the medium is hard. It's like trying to imagine a new color. Conforming is easy. It's comfortable and safe. The projects you create will follow some kind of convention whether you want them to or not, whether it's conscious or subconscious. It's unavoidable. So instead of using the sweeping statement that filmmakers shouldn't watch too many films, I think you should instead be intentional with the media you consume, which isn't always easy. Audiovisual language has been so ingrained in our collective psyche through the consumption of media that it seems impossible to make a film without being strongly influenced by what we've already seen. The explosion of short-form vertical media will continue to invade the collective conceptualization of the audiovisual medium as a whole. This overstimulation through the consumption of audiovisual media is particularly nefarious. You're bombarded with so many conflicting opinions, ideas, and styles. It's very easy to get completely overwhelmed in a way that isn't conducive to developing focused or sustained ideas. If you can somehow harness that overstimulation, more power to you, but I'm seeing it do more harm than good. One of the ways to attenuate this influence is to intentionally choose alternative wells of inspiration. Naturally, some obvious sources would be photographs, music, paintings, sculptures, but more interesting influences might not even be artistic material. Get out, see places, talk to people, take a deep dive into a topic you know nothing about, pick up unrelated skills, gather life experiences. Honestly, this goes for anyone, not just filmmakers. The more you experience, the less you consume, the happier you'll be.
No shit.
When you consume, don't consume blindly. Consume with intention. Try to target work that'll broaden your horizons. It's easy to fall into the trap of blind consumption, but it will consume you if you don't control it. Today it's short-form content, but there'll always be a new thing to occupy your attention and energy. You need to find the best way for you to protect your time and attention. Some people can just choose not to do something. I had to delete apps. Try to find media that leaves you with important takeaways and not regretting lost time. You should gather unique experiences and stories to source your film ideas from. Every film concept, no matter how abstract, has some idea that's based on our real world. That's where you should draw your inspiration from. Otherwise, you can continue to make a remix of an homage to a reference of a classic based on real events that...
I think we get the general idea.